Hi everyone. So today we are going to talk about um, output formatting. Okay, and in the last video we did um, sampling theorem. So let's start and yeah, let's start. So we are going to start with output formatting. Okay, so like as its name specifies, output formatting means that you have more control on the output. Okay, what does that mean? It means that you can present the output of the program in a desired format. Okay, now I cannot tell you all the formats, all the possible formats. You have to keep that in mind. Okay, it will depend on the output that you are seeking, because I also received a few queries, few questions regarding how can I format my output in this way or in that way, how can I get it from the user and all of that. So you can get it from the user. Like, we don't have any specific function as we did in C, like scanf or anything, but we do have input function in Python, and you can use that to get the input from the user, and I'll show you how in this program. So first of all, let's talk about output formatting. And as I told you, like in languages such as C, we already have this function printf. We also have scanf, So this F stands for formatting. So in Python, we don't have printf function. It's not available. So there has to be some other way to format an output. And one option is the use of percentage. Okay, this is our string modulo operator. Okay, this is one way, and this operator is used with placeholders. What is a placeholder? Something that holds place for something else, right? So for example, in the last I think, I have already given this example in one of the videos. For example, if I have, like, let's say name percentage and again percentage, here I'm gonna write hello. Okay, so suppose we have this statement. Now here, this is your placeholder, and this one is modulo operator. Okay, so remember that this is placeholder and this is modulo operator. Okay, now I hope you remember. Now why this is placeholder? Because this is actually holding place for hello, right? This is placeholder because this is holding place for hello. This is going to be placed here. Fine. Now I hope you remember that this operator also works as division operator. So if I say 10 modulus 6, what will be the answer? It's going to be 4, right? Unlike 10 divided by 6, which is 1, right? Is it going to be 1 or what? Yeah, I mean, like, right, it depends, like whether you're considering points or not, right? So but when you use it with string operands, like here you're using it here. Okay, when you use it here, it functions differently. Okay, and with this you can easily tell the syntax here. What is going to be the syntax for this this format? It is string modulus values. Okay, string, what is the string? String that you want to format. Okay, and it can have conversion specifiers, it can have placeholders and all of that. I hope you remember this thing. For conversion specifiers, placeholders, etc., you can refer to the video I've given in the description. Link is in the description, refer to that video. So that's what string is all about. And what are these values? Values are inserted in the place of conversion specifiers. Okay, and in that video we have already taken a few examples, so that is going to be very useful. So go back and check that. I'll give you one example. So for example, print, first will be string. So let's say string is number. Okay, and then modulus values. So value will be 2. Now in that video I've explained different ways to format it. If you want if you want floating point values, you can have a different version of it. So there are a lot of things that I've explained in that video, so just go check there. In this video I'm going to talk about, so that's one method, okay, for output formatting, where you can use these string modulo operators and everything. So this is one method. Another method that we have is called use of format method. So this is literally a method in Python and it's used for formatting of strings. Okay, first we'll talk about its syntax. So let's see. The syntax is, there will be a few statements, it would be strings, and then dot, because if you remember, if you want to call a function or a method, you make use of dot operator, right? Dot. So this is how you call format, and then there will be certain values. Okay, now let me tell you what these things are. First, let's talk about format statements. First let's talk about what are these statements or strings. Okay, so what are these statements or strings? These are positional arguments. If you want, you can note it down. These are positional arguments. Okay, why do we call them positional arguments? Because they have a specific position. Okay, they define a specific position or a specific place for a specific value. Okay, so for example, if let's say have a statement where I'm saying okay, I'll explain first and then I'll give you an example. So statements or strings are usually positional arguments, so we use it here. And then we have format string. What is format value? Format method, and then we have values. What are these? These are actual values. Okay, and these are values. You can remember, like, values that are to be used in the statement are fetched from here. Okay, this is how you can remember this. Okay, now we will start with an example. This is going to be the example. So as you remember, arguments in Python start with 0. Okay, so every time you want to, so for example, I'm gonna say my name is, so this is a statement. Now I'm gonna give a positional argument. So because this is the first argument, it's going to be 0. Okay, so my name is, value will be fetched from this format values. Okay, my name is this, and then I am this is going to be second argument, so I'm going to put 1 here. I am 1, this argument, years old. Okay, fine. So we have statements. My name is, right, string, positional arguments 0 and 1. So they define specific positions where certain values will be placed. Okay, so first we have my name is 0, I am 1 years old. 0 and 1 are positional arguments. And then we also have these statements, these strings here, right? My name is, I am years old, right? And then after this statement, we're going to use format function with values. And these values are going to be placed in these arguments. Okay, they are also acting as placeholders here. So this is this one, and then I'm gonna say dot format function, right? And then I'm gonna provide my name, because first argument, this 0, is actually a name. So Parul, and second argument. Now, do you understand why they are called positional? Because they have specific position. So values actually depend on these specific positional arguments. Okay, these values will be automatically mapped to these arguments. So Parul, it will be 0th argument. Then let's say I'm gonna write 26. So this is going to be the second argument. Fine. So this statement. Okay, let's run it so that you will better understand it. So my name is 0, I am, this is first argument, years old. Okay, format. Now remember that since name is a string, I'm keeping it in double quotes, in quotes, right? And then I am years old. This has to be a number, so it will be a number, right? Okay, this is how it works. And these arguments can be formatted. For example, if you want to use a float value, okay, you will use that specific specifier. Go back to that video that I've given. I've given the link of this video in the description. We talked about it previously, and you will get to see how you can use different specifiers to format the output. So for example, if we want to talk about something else. So for example, let's say you want to talk about, let's say we're talking about temperature or something, or not temperature. We are talking about certain value or cost or something. Okay, that is a floating point value. So what we're going to do is the value, or let's say cost is, so we're talking about something, some cost here. Now this is the first argument in the statement, so again 0. Okay, but as I told you, this is going to be a float value and I want it properly formatted. So I'm gonna give colon here because this is first argument, and then I'm going to specify its properties or its format. So 3.2f. Okay, that should be the format I'm saying. Okay, and now in this format method, I'm gonna give a value. Fine. You see, as per the value, as per the format, value will be formatted in the output. So it was 87659, but it should be 2 digits after dot. And this is what this this specifier refers to. So it's going to be 88. Okay. Also, if you want to, as I told you, I got a lot of queries. How can you get values from the user, you know, and all of that. See, if you want to get value at runtime from the user, you can do that too. Okay, so for example, this statement. Okay, we'll take example of this statement, right? Now you want that the value should be given by the user. So first of all, you need to know which value should be given by the user. Okay, whatever value you want the user to enter, you should take that as a variable in the place of actual value. So for example, here, what will be the possible scenario? You are providing some statement and you are asking user to print the value. Okay, so this value, this should be printed by the user, right? Because this is the output, and you should decide the format. Maybe, I don't know, right? So this value should be given by the user. So this should not be here. Instead of this value, there should be a variable. Okay, and I will actually create a new file to explain what I mean. So you want that user should give you the value. Fine. So first of all, forget about this value. Suppose that you are getting this value from the user. How would you do that? So you need to have a variable instead of this value. So this value will be kept in a variable. So a equals to, now to get value from the user, we have function input. Okay, but this function always returns a string. So now, right, so if I run this program, it's going to show nothing on the screen, and because it is going to expect user to enter some value, right? But we want that when user runs the program, user should be notified as to what he or she should do. So I'm going to print a message. It's gonna say enter a value, right? Now when user enters a value, it's automatically going to be a string. Doesn't matter if the character is pressed or number is pressed or float value is pressed. Okay, so what we have to do is, because all these values are going to be string, when input function is used, value will be automatically a string. So we want that when enter a value, message will be printed on the screen, the value will be a string. Now we want that it should automatically be converted to a float, because we are using float value here. If you want int value, you can use int function. Since we want float value, we're going to use float function. So this whole statement is going to be inside float. Now when the value is entered, it's going to be converted into float. Okay, so just move from the inside out. Okay, first this will be replaced by a specific value, because enter a value, suppose it is 10.7. okay, now what it becomes is, this is how it goes. Actually I explained this concept as well long back. So this is how it works. A equals to, first you have input. Okay, so if you run this thing, I'm telling you, nothing will be printed on the screen. So see, input. Okay, now you have to enter something, then you can go next. If I say input, enter a value, it's going to say enter a value. I can enter any value, it's going to be treated as a string. Fine, we want that this value should be treated as a float number. So enter a value. Now what happens is, and outside I'm writing float, because I want that this value should be converted into float. So when this function gets executed, this is inside out, right? So first this function will be executed, enter a value. Suppose you entered 10.5. Now this is inside, 10.5 is inside float function. So output of this will be floating value. Okay, that value will be assigned to a variable. Okay, so let's move back. So enter a value, right? Now what do we want? We want a statement to be printed. See, when you're creating a file, you need to save it. You have to use print function. Here we are working, we are using a terminal. When you are using the terminal, you don't have to use print function. Okay. If I say hi, it's gonna say hi. You don't have to use print function here, but when you're using a file, that needs to be saved, you have to use print function. So I'm going to use this statement. So this is the value, or the cost is, this is 0th argument, 3.2f. Okay, and yeah, you need to print that, and then dot format, this is going to be A. Okay, this value. Now let's save it. Program 1. Okay, and then run it. Enter a value. You need to enter some value. So for example, 414512. The value of the cost is, okay, just a minute. Where is it? All right. I hope you can see. So it's 4512.589. Okay, this is how you can provide value at runtime as well. Okay, so I was getting a lot of questions regarding this, so I thought that I should just combine it here. If still you're not able to understand, I'll create another video on input function, but so if I recall, I already have this video in the playlist. Okay, Python programming. So this is how you can format the values using format method, and also using percentage modulo method. If you like this video, if it made any sense, if you found it informative, please give it a like. If you're new to the channel, do subscribe. And if you're already a subscriber, thank you so much. Yeah, if you have any queries, let me know in the comments, or you can send me a mail, whatever feels comfortable. I'll see you in the next video lecture. Till then, take care.